Would you rather have hands made of gelatin or hands made of lead bricks?
Am I still a snail?
No, you're a man.
Okay.
So we're back from our tremendous hiatus. We've got a show to do, so many topics still to cover, plus we're adding something new, a sort of hybrid of the normal show, except we add a friend or maybe two, you really never know, because B and I intend on shining light on people that we love, which is why we're hanging all the guests out to dry. Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and welcome to While the Guest Dries.
Today we are joined by Buzz Poley, or Buzz. And say hi, Buzz.
Hi. Hi. Hey, is this thing on?
Yeah,
Are we recording? Oh,
I think
I
so.
mean, we're basically recording, and
okay. I haven't done my How Now Brown Cow yet. Okay, now go ahead.
Yeah. Testing 1, 2, 3. Anyway, yes, we're joined by Buzz, and he is coming at us from the East Coast of the United States of America.
Actually, I'm on the boat from Santiago and heading out to Easter Island.
Oh, nice. Chile.
Jealous.
I'm on vacation this week, so I figured I'd do something exotic.
Wow. Dang.
Send us pictures with the moai.
I know. Tell them I said hi. You know, most of our interns for While the Clothes Dry are outsourced to Easter Island.
Facts. That's where they live.
No, I am coming from Pennsylvania. I'm on my staycation this week, so.
Staycation in Pennsylvania. What do you do for work?
Not as little as possible.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
So you mean like what is my occupation?
What are you staycationing from?
Oh, what am I staycationing from? Well, I have had to do a little. So our semester starts next week, and I work at a university, and so I've had to do a little bit on email and stuff. So I'm not like completely disconnected, but I'm not like incommunicato. But I am a full-time librarian at a university, so I'm an academic librarian, and I've been one for more than 20 years.
Nice.
And I am also a college adjunct professor at the same university, and so I've been teaching since 2000, so over 20 years. So
a long time.
And
wow.
Yeah, I think I've worked 2 or 3 jobs ever since I was 15 years old. So
wow, that's impressive.
I've been unemployed for exactly 3 days since I was 15.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow, that's pretty.
And I'm now 53. So
right. Yeah. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I've worn many hats, but that's my profession is that librarian and college instructor.
Librarian and college instructor. That makes sense. We here at the While the Clothes Dry often refer to you as the great indoorsman.
Yes.
Because we've heard that you prefer the indoors to the outdoors.
Yeah, so there was a great person who came to work in our library, and she only worked there a few years, but her office was next to mine, and we got to know each other pretty well, and we're very dissimilar in a lot of ways, but we had a lot of time just chatting or whatever. Like at my work, there's no water cooler chatter or anything like that. Everyone just sort of does their work, keep their head down, and just does their thing. But we would talk about all sorts of things and stuff. And she even said one time it was sort of like that whole work spouse kind of thing, because we would like talk about our families and our kids and our frustrations and all, with people at work or whatever. anyway, she was the one who dubbed me the Great Indoorsman because
Oh, okay.
her husband loves to fish, and they invited me to go fishing, and I'm like, I'll do that for my boys, but I'm not. I'm you know me. I'm more into board games and watching movies and hanging out, reading books or whatever. I
Mm.
do love to sit outside and drink beer on my patio, but other than that, I'm the Great Indoorsman.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
Buzz,
Yes.
what would you do if one day you woke up, you got out of bed and you looked at yourself in the mirror, you crawled up onto your counter, in your bathroom and looked at
I
yourself
crawled
in the
onto the
mirror.
counter.
Well, here, see, this is why. You find out that you are
Oh,
a rare African land snail.
interesting. Sort of a Kafka-esque.
Yeah.
The guy turns into a bug sort of thing. Yeah.
What would be
So
your
I
first
so
reaction?
wait so there's a great academic debate about Kafka's story about whether or not because at first he's a giant bug, but by the end of the story he's actually bug sized. So am I human size? Like, am I a 6 foot
Hmm.
tall giant African snail, or
Hmm.
am I just already like the size of a pea or whatever?
I
Because
African
if I'm the size
are
of a
pretty
pea,
big.
it's gonna take me a while to get from my bed to the
right.
bathroom.
That's
You know?
true. Okay. So what I'm not gonna do, right, is make you small. I think
Okay.
making you the same size would be good.
Okay.
Big.
That being
But
said,
no, and I have no human. I'm not humanoid in any way. I'm an actual snail.
yes. Well, except for the fact that you still have all your thoughts and feelings.
Okay. Right, but I mean, I don't have arms and legs like attached to
No, no,
a
no.
That's your snail body.
to a what is I don't even know what they're called, unipeds or whatever. I don't know that.
Oh, you talk about like
Foot?
its foot? Yeah.
Yeah, it has like 1 foot and like it's basically like a slug inside the shell, right?
You have one thick foot and you have a shell that you can retreat into.
What would you do?
Um, I'd apologize to my wife for the crud that I left along the floor as I slithered from the bed to the bathroom. So sorry, I couldn't make it to the toilet in time.
Oh my god.
Dang.
No, I really, I'd probably brush my teeth and weigh myself. I don't know. I don't know.
You'd start a memoir.
Go about your day.
Day one.
I'd start to think about how could I drive a car with the one giant foot
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
so I
man.
can get to work. Yeah.
Oh, here's a twist on it.
Okay.
You can now.
Actually, I'd run away and join the circus. How's that sound?
That's pretty good.
I feel like by the time that you got to the circus, it will have moved.
Yeah. I'd be slithering along like chasing and it's hundreds of miles away by the time I get there.
Yeah, but eventually, maybe they'll come back around the next year, and it'll
Yeah,
line
exactly.
up.
But I mean, I would do something. Maybe I would like if I don't know if I could talk, but I mean, I would do something where I could actually make some money from being the only human-sized African snail. Although probably
Right.
they put me in an aquarium or something. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
Terrarium.
I don't know. I feel like that would be really good as a bouncer. Like I know that's a strange thing to say, but perhaps a bouncer for a club. I wouldn't want to go into a club where the bouncer is a 6 foot snail. I'd be very afraid of what they're capable of.
Yeah, I think you'd be intimidating in any work context, quite honestly. So
I guess
Yeah.
that's true.
I
But
I
a
would
bouncer is an intimidating job.
I think didn't you say write your memoir? I would retire and write my memoirs,
That's
but
fair.
I'd have to, I guess, dictate them telepathically to someone. So
Yeah. Maybe you make friends with smaller snails and they all take a left.
nah, that's no, that's not that.
Making friends.
No, he's like, I don't think so.
I was social distancing before it was cool.
Facts. So Do you have any questions for us at While the Clothes Dry?
Do you like liverwurst?
Oh,
I do. I don't think
I don't,
Alex ever has had it.
That's my
I don't know.
girl. Go ahead.
I don't
No,
know.
I do. I was gonna buy some. I think it was a couple of months ago. We were trying to think of like a cool cheese meat plate idea, which I don't think we ever actually did it. Because I like cheeses and meats. And we were gonna get liverwurst, but we weren't in a store where we felt like the liverwurst was actually gonna be good.
Yeah, you definitely want to get good quality liverwurst. You don't,
Yeah.
I mean, like if you can get and it's the Metverse that I know you and Alex had.
Oh my gosh.
That's technically that's probably technically a liverwurst, although like because liverwurst is like the American name for that sort of thing. So Metverst is the German name for the kind of sausage that is with the or T-verse they call it because it's served at tea time. But
that makes sense.
but yeah, no, yeah. So Alex, do you like liverwurst? So you did you get it?
No, actually, I don't think I've ever had it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's like you can get like inexpensive Oscar Mayer liverwurst, and that's good. It's fine. I mean, it's not really great, but it's good.
Right. It's like an introduction more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a decent sandwich for lunch out of that. Yeah.
Interesting.
You've had like liver tacos, right?
No.
No, just tongue tacos.
Yeah, we had lengua, but that's not related, you know.
I thought they had.
And I'm not talking about like I don't eat like chicken livers or calf's liver or whatever. Like actually, when I was growing up, we had to eat once a week. We had to have the fried calf's liver for dinner with onions for health reasons.
Yes,
we were required to eat liver.
Is it really good for you? Like, is it still?
It's very all offal is very especially is filled with nutrition. So yeah, because it's an organ meat, so it's
so it's got all the vitamins and
vitamins and minerals and
Oh.
And I've had real pate. That's goose liver pate is excellent. But I favor German food, so liverwurst. Yeah. I could go on forever. I know all the different kinds.
I believe it.
What's the difference between American versions and German versions?
Have you had steak tartare?
I have had steak tartare.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I was visiting my uncle. He lived in New York City, and I went to visit him and stay with him for like a while, like not like years. I mean, like a few days. And at the time, he was a doorman at the Algonquin Hotel because his main profession was playwright. So he always had these like he did sort of the George Plimpton thing where he like would go and do different odd, interesting jobs just to see what that was like and what he could observe of human nature and so on. And the Algonquin Hotel was very popular earlier than the 70s, which is when this was, but even into the 70s for like famous people who are like writers for Broadway and writers of novels and like a lot of literary people stayed there. So, and I've got one salacious story that he told me once, but I won't tell it. But he was the doorman at the Algonquin Hotel, and he wanted me to have the full New York City experience, not like high flying. It's not like we had tons of money, like to go like, top of the nines or whatever.
Not like fancy-ish.
Yeah, but he wanted to take me to the kind of places that, where you had waiters in red jackets that were short, like kind of thing. And sort of like in Hello Dolly, like that kind of thing.
I've seen it. Alex has seen Wally, which has Hello Dolly in it, but he has never.
Yeah, but that doesn't have that scene. But I was just saying, I don't know if you've seen like, or if you've ever seen one of my favorite movies that's on my list, My Dinner with Andre.
Have you seen that?
No,
it actually takes place in a restaurant in New York, and it has those kind of waiters. But but definitely drink a cup of coffee or something before you watch it, because it's the whole entire movie is a conversation between or like, other than the introductory talk overview that the actor gives. It's an actor going to talk to a director who are friends, and the actor's looking for work, and the director has lived this crazy life, and the entire movie is their dinner conversation, and that's all it is.
Huh.
They're at this restaurant, sitting at the table, but it's just this. The conversation is so fascinating because this guy is just has lived such a wild life. And the thing that was so crazy, why it meant so much to me, was I knew people like that growing up, because in the town where I grew up, there were a lot of really eccentric people. So, anyway, back to the Algon. New York, I did, yes. And so we went to a restaurant, to, like I said, one of these places. I don't remember what cuisine it was, but I think it was American, I guess. But sort of a nice place with a restaurant. Is the kind like with all waiters and like in uniform, and with a towel over their arm, and they come and brush the crumbs off the table and that sort of thing. And that's where I had steak tartare.
Nice. Alex and I had it once, and it was not what we were expecting, and we are considering trying it again. And better circumstances.
Yeah, you have to go to a place that's like a special, like where the chef that's a specialty.
Yeah,
because there's steak. It's like there's steak tartare, then there's steak tartare. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, anyway, yeah.
Well, because we went to this place, on Grand near where we used to go to college,
right.
Because I was like, I'm treating you to fancy dinner tonight.
Nice.
What I was doing.
Yeah, what he was doing.
But anyway, we get there, and immediately I'm like,
you and all the people at Taco Bell were impressed when you ordered in French.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, good job, man, good job." I was like, "I'll order the whole menu." No, but anyway, we went to this fancy restaurant. It was I was immediately like, oh my, because there was.
Is this the one with the swordfish?
No.
This that no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
The one we went to, I forget what it's called.
Bella.
It might have been Bellamy's.
Yeah.
And immediately they're like, would you like regular or something water?
Mineral water.
And I was like, huh? And anyway, so
we got regular water, but it was like $7.
It was $7, and it came from Italy.
Yeah, it was water.
Yeah, the Pellegrini or whatever.
It was actually a different brand. It was even fancier.
Well, for $7, I would hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so.
And I was like, can we just have tap water? Do you guys have a faucet back there? but they didn't like that. Anyway, and then we ordered the steak tartare because it was like, oh, they have it. They have this. We should get it. And I had looked it up, and I had been like, this looks appetizing, because it was like a sort of like a little thing. It's like a cylinder with like an egg yolk on top.
Half of the bone, isn't it?
What?
Isn't it like a half of a bone?
Well, no. Like... I mean, online, what I
saw
was
okay,
like meat and an egg yolk on top, and I was like, that looks strange, but I would like to try it. And we ordered the one there, and
it didn't look anything like that.
No, it was purple. It was stuffed into a bone that they like boiled, right? It was stuffed in like a boiled bone, and there was like arugula. And
that's okay. So that's either well, first of all, if it was Italian restaurant, I would say maybe that's the Italian way of making steak tartare, but that's not anything like what I experienced.
I see.
Mine was more of like you say, American or French American kind of influenced, which is where I think steak tartare comes from.
I think so. I mean,
it's French cuisine, but.
No, that makes sense.
Give it a try. That doesn't what you had with the sun, or maybe it was some crazy California version of it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, true.
Because with the arugula and everything, that just sounds weird. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if you would tell a story of how you got the nickname Buzz.
Short, medium, or long answer?
Let's go with medium for now.
Okay, medium answer is I always had a buzz haircut at that point in my life. Marine style, like high and tight, really short. Where you on the side, back in the side, your head and the sides of your head, and there's just like on the top, there's just a little tuft that you comb over to the one side. So, so I had a high and tight buzz cut all the time, and so we weren't allowed for until sophomore. They
We're losing you. Hold on. We're losing you.
Yeah,
we can't hear what you're saying.
You're cutting in and
Sorry.
out. I'm
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. I don't know what happened.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't do anything. I didn't move.
Okay.
Might have just been bad connection for a second.
Yeah, probably.
I just didn't want you to go through your whole story and then it just
Thank you. Yeah, and you're getting a little fuzzy too, so I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
but,
dang.
So, but can you hear me okay now?
Yeah. So high and tight buzz cut.
Yeah, high and tight buzz cut, and so some guys from the fraternity that I ended up in came freshmen during freshman orientation to my dorm room and said, "So, are you up for a little drinking tonight?" And so I got into that scene, and I was at a college though where the Greek scene was the main way, like social networking on the college campus. We were like one of the top 10 Greek schools in terms of people being involved with fraternities and sororities.
Oh wow!
In the country. We were a small liberal arts college, so it was the same size as my high school, so it wasn't a big school.
Right, yeah.
But and as somebody just said to me recently, it was sort of like, we didn't have like Facebook and Snapchat and all that stuff. Like to make friends, you had to actually see people face to face and stuff. Like, we still used payphones back when I was in college. So anyway, so I ended up going to the fraternity and hanging out there, like I said, freshman year, and then I was actually with my now wife, who was then my girlfriend from high school, who we both went to college together. Although that's because we both applied to the same school before we knew each other, which is kind of weird, but serendipitous.
Before you guys even knew that the other person was going to that college?
No, before we even knew the other person existed. We both applied early admission to the exact same college.
That's crazy.
And then my parents moved away senior year in high school, and I stayed behind and lived with a family from church because I didn't want to leave my girlfriend behind. And then when we went to college, we saw each other. We were hometown sweethearts, but we saw each other at college, but did not see each other at holidays. So it was the reverse of the long distance relationship. Anyway, so I was hanging out with her and some of her roommates and some friends of theirs, a bunch of girls. There was like 20 girls and me, and we're there, and they were like, "So you gonna join a fraternity, and this and that?" I'm like, "Well, like I have fun hanging out at the one fraternity in particular, which is the one that I gravitated to always." And but I was like, I don't know. And then the one, because as you know, because we talked about this before, not on the podcast, but I was voted most preppy in high school, and the college I went to is actually a very preppy school still to this day. Like people say, oh, the students there look like they just walked out of the Land's End catalog. So
that's funny.
Oh my gosh.
So I was very preppy, even though I had this really short buzz cut Marine Corps style haircut. So I looked like something out of the 60s, maybe, I guess, like very collegiate 60s, and the girls were all like, "Oh, you are like the prototypical frat boy. You totally look like a guy who would be in a fraternity, with the haircut and the preppy clothes and everything." And I was just like, "Okay, so then I'll join the fraternity." So anyway, But the thing is, if you join a fraternity, you get a nickname. And I have always had nicknames my whole life, one kind or another. But they all agreed that my nickname should be Buzz.
Huh.
So when I would go around to the fraternities or anywhere else, really, for that matter, at that point, I would always introduce myself as Buzz. And because of my haircut, everyone always remembered that. And it's so much easier. You would not believe my first name, people don't remember it. They would get it wrong. I had like a friend in high school, his mom could never get my name right. She'd call me Doug and Dirk and all sorts of things, and it was never right. So, yeah. So having a nickname was helpful, and I had the short hair, so they dubbed me Buzz, and it stuck. And of course, Buzz liked to get buzzed. So
yeah, there you go.
And then I learned how to mix drinks, and by sophomore year, I was having parties doing that, and so yeah, so that actually, and then when I joined, when I actually was a part of a thing called the Gray Plan with the fraternity, and that's a whole other story. But so I was the Great Sigma Nu Myth because I was a brother who was never brotherized.
Whoa.
And so I was actually a rush question because I was on the composites and everything. The photo was on the composite, my photo and everything. And I was house manager and all these things, but I had never been brotherized. So I was never initiated into the fraternity officially. But at the fraternity, then Buzz turned into Buzzmeister. So I was the Buzzmeister at the fraternity. So on my big fraternity mug that I got, my big brother, it said Buzzmeister.
Buzzmeister. That makes sense. That's a good story. I like that.
The master of buzzes.
The master of buzzes. What
would you do with a legion of buzzes?
Legion of buzzes.
Like a bunch of mini U's.
I would. Well, okay. So is that what you mean by? So when you say mini, do you mean like toy soldier size, or you mean like midgets?
I like toy soldier size.
I don't know. He said midgets, and that's pretty cool.
Okay, I mean,
or I'm sorry, little people. I don't know what
they prefer. Right. I think teeny tiny little people now.
Teeny tiny, yeah, the teeny tiny munchkin people.
Oh
for what is it? Clarity. I guess we'll say U's that are 3 feet tall.
Let's just say halfling. That's easier.
There we go.
So if a bunch of halflings who were me, just like me, like had my personality and all my thoughts and feelings and everything.
But they listened to you. You are the supreme leader.
You're the boss.
They're like clones that went wrong. They all just came out half shrunk.
Yeah, maybe you wanted to save money on ink, so you only printed a little.
My 3D printer, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would try to crush the empire of the snails.
My rebellion. Yes, we love a good callback. Yes, we here at While the Clothes Dry are a big fan of a good callback. That was a good callback. So you would use your mini halflings to take over the Legion of Snails.
Well, we would be the rebels, like in Star Wars, because the snails would want to conquer the world, and they would be like the empire. And
wow. But then you'd find out there'd be a confrontation between you and Snail You, in which you find out you are the same. You are brother.
And that's when Snail Me says, "Escargot, baby, here we are."
Yeah.
And then,
oh my God!
and then I eat my Snail Me.
Human Buzz eats Snail Buzz.
Oh, I love this. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, escargot buzz.
And I'm like, snails are back on the menu, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Do you slather you in butter?
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No.
Well, I would first the human Buzz would definitely slather myself all over with butter. And then I would get some clarified butter for the snail.
Mm.
Just wait, so you'd cover yourself in butter to eat the buttered? Whoa, wait, what?
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
wait! You don't give yourself a butter massage before you eat escargot?
I've never had escargot. Maybe you do.
Maybe you do. I mean, the world is filled with great mysteries.
Well, you have to butterball like the turkey for Thanksgiving.
Well, that's a butterball.
Yes,
turkey. That's
yes.
a turkey. You eat that.
You have to do the butter massage on the turkey for Thanksgiving. Definitely, that's Julia Child's recommended way of doing it. And that's how we do it.
No, I get that. I just, I just mean, well, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, you said you put your So
well,
butter.
like the ancient Greek athletes, like they would put olive oil all over their bodies before the competition or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they'd use like a little scraping board to scrape it all off because it would catch all the dust and dirt and everything from the wrestling or whatever.
On fire.
And then they put it in a jar and they'd like sell it, or was it?
No. They would just scrape it off and throw it on the ground.
No, that's not true. There was a historical reference where they would put it in a jar and they would give it to like the queen's, like some not famous person, some like rich person. They'd be like, this is the sweat and dirt of this amazing Olympic champion.
It sounds like Harvey Honkers with his raincoat and he opens it up. Hey, you want to buy some butter?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Well, that could be a new research project, but I saw that somewhere.
Hey buddy, I know your favorite athlete's got some delicious oil here for you.
Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Vials for sale. Oh.
It's quite if you're pulling my leg, it's completely plausible, and I have studied the ancient world extensively, so I believe it.
I actually remember seeing or hearing that somewhere. Now, whether that was a reputable source or not, I don't remember where it was I saw it. So it could have been History Channel, it could have been a YouTube video.
Well, like I said, it's plausible.
It's plausible.
Because, like you said, because it would have, like, from the competition, it would have the dirt. Soil meant something different to the Greeks, than it does to us. So.
Right. Yeah, it was more earthy.
But they wouldn't like consume it. That's the thing.
No.
It was like a trophy, Yeah. Most of the time they just scrape it off and throw it on the ground. I mean, it was just a way of keeping yourself lubricated when you're doing all these different exercise, or what do you call it, athletic competition things.
Like a greased pig.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, kind of. If you're wrestling someone, you don't want them.
Actually, mommy was, when she was a kid and out west, she was in a catch the greased pig contest, and she almost got it.
Oh my gosh.
She almost got it.
Man, that was in Finian's Rainbow, which is a movie that Alex and I watched together.
Yeah.
And we talked about doing that.
With the smokeless tobacco. Yes, that's.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Is that on your list of films for a lifetime?
It is.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised and not.
It's you got to understand. It's called Films of a Lifetime because I gave up on saying I'm going to tell you what the best movies that were ever made are.
Right.
Because that's really, for me, as I thought about it, I'm like, that's really a matter of taste.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I have a bunch of musicals, and I've got a lot of John Wayne movies and Doris Day movies and things that I know are not the greatest movies of all time.
Right.
They're not, Citizen Kane, which is not a really great movie, but anyway. But it's not, a really truly great movie like It's a Wonderful Life or whatever. And so, but they're my favorites, like ones that I watch again and again and again. So,
right.
So that's why I call it. I have to give credit to my son-in-law who said it. Call it Buzz's Films of a Lifetime.
Buzz's.
And I said that's instead of like your top 100 or whatever. And then it became so long. I was just like, I got to cap it somewhere. So I said 250 was the number. 250 movies. So
because it doesn't have to be like your top 100. It could just be
right. It's just It's the 250 movies that if you read the list, first of all, you can see how many of them do you know or have you seen or whatever. But then the second thing is, it's like you really get to know what I like and what I'm like and why I am who I am.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think when you have a completed list, we will post it on our Twitter.
Okay, I have the list. It's complete unless something really amazing pops into my head. It's complete. It's just not been completely ordered yet. I've been rearranging it, but it's close. I had some free time recently, so because it was summer, and so I was working on that. But yeah, so I mean, it's I just don't want to because the thing is, once it's out there, I don't want to tinker with it. I'm gonna be like, this is it. This is unless like I said, unless the greatest movie of all time, in my opinion, comes along in 2025 or something like that, and then maybe I'll I'll chuck out Django Unchained or whatever.
That is a good movie.
That's number 250.
Oh,
there
you go.
Boondock Saints is number 249.
That makes sense.
I haven't seen
No matter what, they have that spot. Those spots.
Ah, interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing your list because
I just want to say they had those spots because they're always going to be the lowest of the low in the sense on my list. But so if I had like 10 more really great movies, they might actually get bumped off. But I just mean, so there's not like they can't get bumped off. It's just that they're not ever going to move up to like 145 or whatever on the list.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Those are staying where they are.
Yeah. Right. It's just like the first two movies, Casablanca and It's a Wonderful Life, number 1 and 2, are never going to change.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I can tell you flat out.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Those are both solid movies, in my opinion. I agree that those are solid movies.
So I know I just have to tell you that I know there's a little bit of a competition, a tiff, or whatever you want to say, between two of your other guests about good video games that something won an award or something. I don't know, and so I'm gonna go political here. I'm gonna hands down, no other video game beats Pong.
Oh wow! You really think so?
The first and pretty much the last and only video game I've ever owned. So,
you know,
I don't own it now. I owned it as a kid, but man, many an hour I spent with Pong. Boop, boop.
Oh my gosh!
You know, I realize there's more. It's deceiving that there's like, if I remember correctly, there's ways to make it go faster and slower.
Yes.
Right? It's more than
Yes.
just like a really back and forth.
Yes, and we had like the home Pong version, so like there was like tennis, highlight, like a couple of different variations, but of course it's all just like a line and hitting a dot that's going across the screen. But yeah, no.
Best one of all time, huh?
Yeah, that's the only good video game there is. That's the rest of them are all garbage.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
you
my favorite is Plants vs. Zombies for the iPhone.
I don't even know. I've heard you talk about that. I think I've heard about that before, whatever.
Well, we talked about it on the podcast because I've beaten it twice.
Yes. And I just mean I don't know anything about any of those things.
No,
The last time I played a video game was in an arcade in about 1985, I think. 86.
Oh.
Yeah.
We played Trivia Murder Party.
Yeah, but I don't consider that a video game. Is that a video game?
It's more like a party game.
Oh.
Like it's more about interaction with people than it is about like, I don't know. Yeah, I consider them.
Well, yeah, because like to me, a video game, like it's more like Da Capo or I don't know, something where you're actually like doing something, trying to achieve a goal or whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, with the trivia, you are trying to achieve a goal with the trivia, to win the race, but it's just a trivia game, really,
Yeah.
I'd
no,
I'd
that's
say
true.
that I consider all the Jackbox games, including Trivia Murder Party, are more of a means to an end. Like there's no like it's more about interacting with your friends than it is
Right.
about really playing the game.
Right.
So
Right.
I have to agree with you. Though I will say, um,
I just know I'm gonna start some fights by what I said. I know it.
I'm sure it's okay.
Con.
I think because what do you like about board games? Like what is the best part about playing board games for you?
So part of it is what you said, which is I like more. I know that you can sort of, I don't know, do online games where you're interacting sort of with people. I don't know, with
Right.
headsets and stuff. I don't know, but like it's more. I like gathering with a bunch of people around a table. I definitely like games that have like minis or or some kind of like tactile meeples or whatever, like little things on the in the board where you have to manipulate them around and move them around. And like I said last recently, I played Axis and Allies. I love that because you got the little, not the online one, but I mean the tabletop, because you got the little figures, and the soldiers look like
Yeah.
soldiers, and the planes look like planes, and and I like that. I mean, I grew up on war games when I got to that more sophisticated strategy games where all the figures were just little cardboard squares, and I've got lots of those games. But
Right.
but it's tactile. Like you're picking it up and reading the numbers and moving them around on a hex grid, and that's what I like about board games. It's gathering, being social, and also the physical manipulation of something, of some figurines or something.
I see. So, and video games, you feel like maybe that's a little more detached because,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
because
it's
well,
button.
I'm on the computer all the time for work, so like to me, a video game is like work.
Oh, interesting.
Like I'm not well, like because screen time for me is like I spend so much time in front of a screen for work. It's like I don't want to sit in front of a screen when I want to relax, unless I'm watching a movie or something. Which, by the way,
Yes.
the reason that in the old days you couldn't sit close to the screen
Uh-huh.
and now you can is because the old days they had cathode ray tubes that
Oh.
send out electrons out
Oh.
of the screen, and flat screens don't have those.
Oh.
You can have your eyeballs as close as you want to a flat screen, but not one of those old timey screens.
Oh, interesting. Is that why they make those like high pitched sounds?
Yes, because it's almost, think of it like a light bulb, like a light bulb kind of thing. It looks kind of like that.
That
But it actually emitted electrons out into the air that your eyeball was picking up and seeing the picture.
Wow.
interesting. That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Do you ever use your Siri, Gaga?
No, never. I don't even have it turned on.
Yeah. Alex's phone, what's yours called? Bixby?
My phone?
No, the name of your virtual assistant.
Oh, I don't have it turned on either.
No, but it has a weird name.
It's like Bixby or something like that.
Instead of Siri.
Which
That's because you have an Android phone or something?
yeah, it's true.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't ever use Siri. Yeah.
No, I mean why, like
Right.
I don't know, like if I wanted someone to always be there to listen to me, I'd probably consider hiring somebody, I guess. I don't know.
My thing is I just don't, well, I'm old fashioned anyway, but the thing is I just don't have any use for an AI that's gonna, like I can look something up. I don't need to ask it to look something up for me or whatever.
Right.
I do it while I'm driving.
See, I don't deal with my device when I'm driving at all, really. I mean, I listen to music, but I mean, yeah.
Well,
So
that's different, It's like that's hands off. You're not like actively learning or listening to something tell you something, It's passive.
my thing is I don't know what you would, I mean, I guess like, what would you do? You're like, oh, I want to see the Wikipedia article on Kodiak bears or something.
No.
Siri, can you like?
So when I had Apple Music,
Yeah.
I would say play this on Apple Music.
Yes.
And so it would do that. And so when I get Spotify in the new year,
Yes.
it will be able to do that as well. Or I'll say call Alex on speaker. Or
Okay.
text Bethnocentric that I'm thinking of her, or like whatever it is. There are
Okay.
limitations because sometimes it'll read you some of the internet stuff, and sometimes it won't. Sometimes be like, here's what I found on, like you said, like whatever the case may be. But it also might be like,
But it sounds like you're in your car, like on interplanetary travel or something, because it's like, how can't you wait another 10 minutes to do that? You know what I mean? It's not like you're in cryogenic sleep for 16 years and you've got to do some things while you're on the way.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. That's what I use it for.
No, I'm not criticizing you. I just mean, I think anything I need to do in the car, it can wait. Typically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I know B likes to be impulsive, so
It's true. It's true.
so she needs the Siri to respond to her impulses.
Yes, because
Yeah.
well, also I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. I've talked to people about it, but going from having 2 hours on public transit
Yes.
to being driving where you need your hands and your eyes,
Yes.
it limits your ability to be able to like get work done while you're driving. Or
I was
like,
going to say that's the thing. Being on the public transportation, you got accustomed to being active while in transit, whereas like I've never really, like, I used to use my PDA on the train or whatever when I used to do that years ago when I would commute, but I didn't. Yeah. So it makes sense though that you're accustomed to doing something while you're in transit and you're not used to just being in transit and just doing that.
right.
Exactly.
So anyway, so tell me, Alex, what do you think of her driving?
Oh my gosh.
Be honest, just between you and me.
Yeah, you and me and all of our listeners and God and pretty much everyone. She drives the car like it's butter on a pan.
Wow. I think that's either a veiled insult or a compliment. I'm not sure which.
I mean, that's that's up to her, I guess. I don't know. It's like,
You mean like she's sliding all over the place?
yeah, it's like it's too fast, right? It's really strange and it goes all kinds of different directions,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that comedian that B told us about, that where the guy's like, the best high he ever had since he stopped drinking was to pretend like he's drunk and then get pulled over for a breathalyzer test, and then the cop looks at it and he's like, "You're free to go," even though he's acting like a total bonkers guy who's as if he's high on something.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why it made me think of that though. Like, I could see B get pulled over, and they're like, "Are you intoxicated?" And she's like, "No, this is just me. I'm high on life."
Yeah. Never gotten pulled over yet, knocking on some wood.
She gets pulled over and she's still moving.
Alex definitely gets more on edge when I drive.
Okay.
He's more like my mom in the car, where he doesn't just sort of like chill. It's more
your proverbial mom, or you mean your actual mom?
My actual mom.
Okay. All right.
When I have driven with her, she is worried that I'm going to crash into something or go too fast or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whereas like my driving has improved as I've driven more.
Well, it's a learned skill, so that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I have one friend who always falls asleep in the backseat of my car whenever I drive with him anywhere, which I think is really it's a compliment because it means he's not afraid I'm going to crash into things.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
maybe he's just so afraid he falls asleep.
Yeah,
But-
I fell asleep last time I was in your car.
Yeah.
But I was just really
That was the
tired.
morphine patch talking,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
which he needed because he knew he was
It's-
riding with you.
It's true. I have an emergency kit in my bag. um,
But that's good you were able to fall asleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually
So
really,
you had
Oh, go
crazy dreams probably, but
yeah.
like you were falling off a cliff or something.
I'm actually I appreciate that she drove when she did because we were going out down to San Diego for like a Christmas party with our friend group, and I didn't want to drive. Like I was tired from the week and driving
Right.
to work, and she picked up the slack, and I really appreciated that. So
Nice. Yeah.
I yeah.
You
Cool.
commuted for a while on the train.
Train, yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Why was that? Was it convenience? Was it?
No, it wasn't convenience. It was they had an incentive program at work because we have a train station on campus.
Right.
So at the time there was an incentive program to try to get fewer people to come to drive to work and to take public transportation. The problem is that the freaking public transportation in Philadelphia is terrible because I mean, well, there's the subway system, which I would never take unless you want to like risk your life and meet Gritty or something. But and but like the other thing is called regional rail, and so but it's like every train goes through the city. There's no circumferential train, so you have to like I would have to take a train from where we live in the suburbs all the way into Center City, and then out from there out to the suburbs where Villanova is. So it's an extra long ride and everything. And as B said, you can get stuff done, but I wasn't like getting a whole lot done on the train or anything. So, but at the time, like it saved me on tolls and gas and all that. And, but then once I got my hybrid car, I stopped.
Yeah.
And that was, yeah. So, cause it was it was less expensive than taking the train. The train was becoming very expensive and it was completely inconvenient and took 10 times longer than it needed to. So, and then post COVID, actually the traffic has gotten even better where it's not even that bad. So like what used to take me an hour and a half to drive, sometimes it only takes me like 30 or 40 minutes. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's one benefit of the pandemic. I guess all the people died and they're not driving to work or something.
My goodness.
We weeded out the stragglers.
Exactly. One way to clear the traffic jams.
Yeah. Nothing like a global pandemic to free up the traffic. Oh my gosh. Oh, actually, I like now that you mentioned the train, I'm curious, have you met any interesting characters on your or had you met any crazy interesting characters on your train commute?
No, well, not really, not in the way I think that what you mean, like some interesting character, like you'd see some interesting things, like some people would come and like be eating fried chicken and shaving at the same time on the train, and like doing weird stuff, or like going to a sports game or whatever, and so they've all been drinking and carousing, but nothing, no like really weird people. The one weird thing that really like freaked me out, and it's also like made me mad, because so on the one train from Villanova into Center City that I'm going home, and there's the ticket taker guy. They're not really conductors, but they're ticket takers. But this one guy was like really nasty, just an unpleasant dude. And I get down to the train and the train's pulling out. And, like if you don't catch the train, like it's because they're out in the suburbs, it's like you'd have to wait a whole another hour for the next train. So I was like, oh, like in the old movies, you run, you catch the train, you jump on like at the last second as it starts to pull out of the station, and I thought, oh, that'd be really cool or whatever. And I go and I do that, and man, the nasty ticket taker guy grabbed me by the shirt and just like was threatening me, and like it really freaked me out, and I was just like, whatever, I'm not taking the train anymore.
Oh my
Yeah, that
goodness.
sucks.
I was like in the glow of a movie moment, and then all of a sudden it was like the reality of, oh wait, I'm taking public transportation in Philadelphia where people are unkind. So
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah.
that sucks.
yeah. So, but no, I mean, nothing. No real interesting characters. I don't know. Maybe B. Did you see anybody on the bus or anything out there in LA
I've
or
definitely
Long
seen
Beach?
a couple interesting things. So I didn't have to go all the way into Long Beach to take the train from Long Beach to like Union Station in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I saw some people get in like a verbal argument. I've seen like there was one time actually they were like playing music over the speaker, like over like a personal speaker, but like super loud. So I could hear it like through my headphones, and I was getting so irritated that I was gonna just be like, can you turn it down? But instead I just got off the car and got into a different car at one of the
Right.
stations.
Right.
And then I
right.
saw someone else that did it, that moved too, and I was like, you too? And they just glared at me, and I was like, oh, okay. I was trying to create some camaraderie of, wow, that
Yeah.
was really annoying. And they just did not want to be talked to. And I was like, that's
No, it's sort of like riding in an elevator. It's like it makes people feel really uncomfortable when you break that bubble that everybody's in.
yeah.
yeah.
So
It's like, what? Why are you talking to me? Please. Like, I'm not here to make a connection. I'm here to get somewhere.
yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I've had people like ask to use my phone because their phone died, and I was like, I'm not gonna hand you my phone, but like I can call someone if
Yeah. Really.
you need that.
Yeah.
And it ended up being fine, but just like crazy, like interesting situations.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to take multiple trains to get to where you're trying to get to.
Right.
So
Right.
Jeez. What's your favorite mode of transportation?
Seaplane.
Seaplane.
have you experienced a seaplane?
No. I just
Okay,
think
I didn't think so.
I just think they're really cool.
Seaplane enthusiast.
Yes. Well, like, I mean, they're in the Adventures of Tintin, which is a Belgian comic book, which I loved as a kid, and I still do. Because it was written in the 30s. So, that was when those were used more frequently, or whatever you want to say. Like the Clipper was the China Clipper was the big one in the United States. But I'm thinking more of like in the Indiana Jones, like the guy on the seaplane.
Yeah.
He's waiting to get, to pick him up or whatever and take him, just the fact that you have a plane that can land on water at a time when you're flying by freaking propeller, like that just blows my mind.
That is really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, actually, other than the noise, which is sort of like an airplane noise, or loud like an airplane, but the one mode of transportation that I took that was really cool, that was not that I actually was on, that is not typical, was a hovercraft.
A hovercraft.
Yeah, so it used to be they used to have before the tunnel, the tunnel they dug between France and Britain to get back and forth by car and truck and everything.
Yes.
Before they built that, they used to have a giant hovercraft service that would go back and forth between Calais in France to Dover in Britain. And it was this big deal. It was like, a huge, it was sort of like the Concorde. It was sort of like this very not expensive like the Concorde, but I just mean like a very special thing that people would like think was really like amazing or whatever, because it was. I mean, it was just different. It was because it's, I don't know if you know how hovercraft works, but it's like, you're sitting in the fuselage, and then all of a sudden it just floats up because it's inflating like a zeppelin underneath you though, and then it just propels itself on the zeppelin across the water, so like it floats on like a rubber raft that's enormous, across the water.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was really cool, but it was really loud. That was the thing I didn't like.
I see.
Yeah.
But like how an airplane is loud, like you don't expect it to be. You always forget that it is, and then when you're on the plane, you're like, "Man, this is freaking giving me a headache."
Yeah,
Right.
honestly, that's accurate.
Yeah,
You always sort of forget how loud it is, or like parents don't warn their children how loud the plane's gonna be.
well, like I said, I think
Sometimes.
because you forget. I think you forget in between flights. You don't think about it, and then in movies and stuff, it's never loud.
Oh, well,
So
no,
like,
of course.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So how about you, Alex? What's your favorite form of transportation?
I do like what's it called?
Hot air balloons.
No.
That's my least favorite form of transportation.
Really?
Yeah,
Dang, I've never been on one, but I don't think I ever want to be on one.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't like heights like that. I like trains. Like,
Trains are cool.
trains are very cool, and I don't think I've been on a lot of trains in my life, but when I have, it's been a pretty good experience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I would love to be on a vintage train. Like I think maybe we talked about this before, but like one with like the Pullman porter cars where the seats get turned into the bunk bed type things that they pull off the wall.
Yeah,
That would be cool. I mean, they don't even have those anymore. Now it's all private rooms and stuff, but anyway, but that would be cool. Like when like in some like at hot, like like that kind of train.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
Dang.
But
One of our friends, he was talking about how there was like a train experience of some kind that he wanted to do in Europe with like wine and different stops and things like that.
Yeah, there's one in California.
Is there one in California?
Yeah, it's the wine train. It's
the wine train.
I'm serious. It's called like the remember?
The
No.
discount one is the wino train, and hobos ride that.
Oh my gosh.
The wine train. Yeah. Interesting. No, that would be cool. No,
Napa Valley wine train.
I didn't do wine train. I did take trains in Europe. That was kind of cool.
Huh.
That was fun. Yeah, because they're a lot cleaner and nicer because they're a lot more people use because everything's so close in Europe, that there's a lot of people will take train instead of flying or bus or whatever. So
Right. That makes sense.
But yeah, so yeah, the one time I went to Europe, we did take the train quite a bit, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think the idea of the auto train is very exciting to me because you can get somewhere relatively quickly without having to drive, and then you also have your car once you get there.
Right.
I think that is very exciting.
But the big butt, everybody I know has a big butt, right? So what's the butt? Yeah, I know what's coming. What's your caveat?
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I love the idea, but I did it once as a kid and I hated it.
Yeah, I did do it once, and I did consider doing it again until I found out that it pretty much completely avoids northern Texas where I was trying to get to. And so it kind of was like, well, it'll drop you off in New Mexico and you can drive from there. And it's like, wow,
Yeah.
thanks.
Wow.
I love that. That's really
Yeah, no.
not what I wanted to do.
I mean, so Alex, we did the auto train to go to Disney one time, Disney World in Florida.
Oh.
So you take the train from Virginia to Florida, and it was the auto train. We had the giant 15 passenger van because of course we had the whole family and everything. And
Right.
so the fact that they can take that kind of vehicle onto the train and then take the train, it was cool. It would have been better, we didn't, no one sprang for like the private room kind of thing. That would have been much nicer. We just sort of, sitting in seats and then trying to sleep on seats because it's overnight. Basically, you're on the train, and it was cool. Like there was refreshments and movies and stuff that they were showing and things that you could do, but yeah, it wasn't the most comfortable thing. And I know for some people in my family, some of my kids and probably my wife were traumatized by the experience. And that's what I thought B was referring to. She was like, I like the idea of it, but I was traumatized as a child.
I liked the fact that I could stay up all night in the club car, like they stay in Some Like It Hot, and that they had free tea always.
Yes.
So I was just drinking black Lipton tea, or like I put, an exuberant amount of cream and sugar in it.
Oh
right.
You're all
and all the pub mix you could eat. That was great.
But they had wasabi peas in the pub.
Wait a minute though. Those wasabi peas are fantastic.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Way too spicy for a child.
But it was but it was good. It was fun. It was for me, it was a fun experience. I think it made for a good memory. I don't know that I would do it again, but
but you're glad you did it once.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I love
Definitely.
That. Oh man. Would you ever like be the conductor of like a crazy like train where all the cars are like different? You keep saying
no. I wouldn't even, I even this like a regular commuter train, I wouldn't even be the guy taking the tickets. In fact, I talked to one of those ticket taker guys one time. He was a young guy, and usually they're not, because it's like really tough to get that job because it pays really well. And he told me, he said the final exam to become a ticket taker is you go on a train, and the entire train, all the passengers on the train are all the other ticket taker guys who are already in the job. Yes. And so it's sort of like almost like a hazing experience, because it's like, so they all do all the crazy shit that people do on trains all at once, and you're having to deal with it, and they see how you cope with whatever they think up on the spot to do.
Oh, fuck and that's fucked.
Yeah.
That's awful.
I also had that in a job training experience. I had a similar thing happen where I was training for a position that was difficult to do, and you deal with a lot of variety of people. And the last set that we did, the person who was training, it was me and another trainee. Our trainer, he was like, I'm gonna watch, and he didn't warn us that he was gonna come up and be difficult people, but he did, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're literally cutting off this family. I don't know how I feel about this, but he said we handled it very well. So that was a good overall experience, but it was more like improv acting.
Well, you're good at that, so
she's a good improv actress.
I try.
Oh man, that reminds me of this one time I was interviewing for a job as a escape room host. And they told me to act out what I would do in a scenario where the people were like afraid to go into the escape room. And I kind of blew it.
You like shoved them in the door and slammed it shut.
Well, the two people interviewing me were the people that worked there, and they were also played the roles of the people that were scared, and they were like, "Is this room scary? Like, am I gonna die if I go in here?" And I said, "Yes." I said you will die. I, and I thought it was funny, but it was not funny.
He did not get the job.
I did not get the job.
You're like, I want to work at the escape room so that I can kill people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it comes across.
I sort of, yeah. Yeah. And they were like, so why did you choose that option? And I was like, well, I figured it was in theme, you know, because it's like a sort of like a haunted like a horror escape room.
Yes,
and they,
yes.
and they were like, no, like you definitely want to reassure them that, you know, they're not going to die and it's okay. And I was like, oh,
Oops.
sorry. But yeah, it's kind of fun.
It ended up being okay in the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't get the job, but other opportunities arose at some point.
Yes, yes.
What is your favorite creepy crawly?
Favorite
Ooh.
creepy crawly?
Yeah,
Ooh, you like real like actual creepy crawly thing, or like
actual
thing that-
creepy crawly.
like an inchworm.
Inchworm.
That's
Because-
yeah.
The rectilinear movement. I love that.
Yes, I like that too.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
They're like one big leg trying to get back to a green body.
In a cartoon movie.
Ooh, that would be weird. A creature that has inchworms for arms and legs,
Yeah.
That would be quite strange.
and then they all try to go in a different direction.
Inchman.
Inchman.
He has no control over any of them. They all have minds of their own. And
Yeah.
he's just like the the opening scene of the movie is him trying to just eat breakfast. Like, he just keeps kicking the table and slamming the plates. He's like, oh, come on, guys, I'm hungry.
Just flailing around.
He was bitten by a radioactive inchworm.
He was bitten by several
Several.
at various times.
And they each have their own personality.
Yeah, they do. Oh my gosh. At the end of the second act is when all his limbs leave him because he yells at them. He's like, I don't need you and you don't need me. And then they all just detach slowly. And he's like, wait, guys, wait. And they just leave him on a park bench.
He's a torso with a head.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
So how about you? Favorite creepy crawly?
Ooh. This is a weird one because they're my favorite because of the terms, right? Because of creepy and crawly. Earwig.
Blech.
Really?
That's one of my
Earwig.
least favorite.
They are creepy
No.
and crawly.
Stop.
Yeah, but you don't want to have them around.
Oh, absolutely not. I would never ever if I had
Okay.
a choice to never see one ever again, I would choose that immediately, But
Okay.
but they're both creepy and crawly,
Yeah.
They're exactly what I think of. That or a millipede. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Millipedes are cool. Like I think
They're
having that many,
they're cool. They're cool to watch as long as it's outside or something,
Yeah.
Not like up your leg. But
Earthworm.
You say earthworm?
Earthworm for me.
Mm.
It's the least offensive.
I don't
but
know.
how do they taste?
I don't trust
Delicious.
earthworms.
You don't trust.
I don't trust. Where are they looking?
I know you're not much of an outdoor guy, but you'll get a kick out of this. So when I was a kid, we would go fishing. My dad would get us up, like 3:00 in the morning because we had to go early before the sun came up to go fishing. And we would go out in the yard. And this is in the summer. We would go out in the yard with a claw hammer, just like a regular hammer you would use, and go out and kneel on the ground and bang it. Just hit it with the hammer. And then all the earthworms come up out of the soil.
No way.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's because
They
they think it's rain, right?
They respond to that's why in Dune they have the thing where it pounds the sand and it brings the worms, the big sandworms out.
Oh shoot.
Because it's an actual thing that actual worms do respond to that pounding sound.
That was in a Bob the Builder episode. And it's because that they think the ground is shaking like it's raining, and they like to come out when it rains.
Right. They love
Ah,
So that's why it does that. Because
yeah.
I
But I
think
mean, but imagine like when I was a little kid, like that was just like one of the coolest things my dad ever showed me. That was like so cool.
they come wriggling out of the ground.
it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the call. It's the call of the worm. Oh man. But
Nature's
it's
call.
actually really sad how much they love like the moisture, because every time it rains over here, at least, like they all come out, they play, and then they die. Like they just
Because they get baked on the sidewalk or whatever.
yeah, they either drown or they get baked because the water runs out. And it's like,
Right.
damn. That's like they have a mini like genocide. Like every time it rains, it's very sad.
Wormicide.
Wormicide. But, yeah.
If you could be a creepy crawly,
Oh man.
I probably would be.
Now you got me thinking about Bug's Life, because then it's like the personalities of the things start like Heimlich or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I think I'd want to be Heimlich.
No,
Heimlich is Alex's favorite character.
I
from
do
that
love
movie.
Heimlich.
Well, good. Then you would like me.
There you go.
I don't even remember exactly what kind of bug he is. But
He's a caterpillar.
He's a caterpillar.
and then he
caterpillar.
becomes a butterfly.
Yeah, and he becomes a butterfly
that's
whose
right.
wings are completely function, like have no function at all. Like they're too small.
Oh,
He was voiced by the late Joe Ranft, who was an animation director at Pixar who died tragically
oh,
car crash.
I thought you were gonna say eaten by earthworms.
That would be pretty cool,
probably
but
eventually.
no. Actually, I guess he wasn't the late Joe Ranft at the time.
Well, at the time he was still alive.
He was young, or he was younger, but he died right after Cars came out, like the movie Cars.
Was he in the movie Cars?
Yeah, he was Red. He was the fire truck.
Oh, the one that like.
Then he saw the movie and they put him to a cardiac arrest.
Oh no!
Yeah. No, even worse. Ironically, he died in a car crash.
Oh man,
Yeah, I know. It's rough.
that's like perfect for a headline. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Cars animator dies in car crash.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man.
I think I'd want to be an ant.
Nice.
I think ants are actually. I mean, if you're arguing with creepy crawlies, I'd say I like crawling as an ant better than I would as a worm. So.
Mm.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, we were just pondering the mythical orb.
Pondering the mythical orb. I don't even want to know what you're doing out of there.
I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah. B finds all kinds of interesting things at the 99-cent store.
Hang on. It's true though, I do. I do.
Is it like a magic 8-ball?
No, it's not real.
No, it's just like I think it's like a marble but big.
Okay.
Like it's
Alex is the only one who sees it, so
no. They're gonna think I'm they're gonna think I'm schizophrenic, okay?
what are you talking about, bro?
Oh.
Now she's gaslighting you.
I know now I'm on fire. Oh man. Anyway, I just like to say before we get too far off the topic that I think I would want to be a tarantula.
A tarantula.
Oh, I hate spiders.
I don't like spiders.
Sorry,
either.
I hate spiders.
I don't like spiders either, but if I had to be a creepy crawly, I would not want to be eaten by anything. Right?
But you'd be one of the most hated creatures on the planet.
And they get eaten by birds.
That's fine.
And
fine.
wasps.
No, then you know what I'll be? I'll be a Goliath bird eater. How about that?
Goliath?
That is a spider the size of a dinner plate that kills and eats birds.
Wow.
Nice.
I don't know. It's that's a lot to live up to, though.
Well, the cool thing about being a tarantula is you'd have a song named after you. So
Oh,
the tarantella.
the
Da, da,
tarantella.
da, da,
Is that real? Is that really what it's for?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah. It's called the tarantella. In Italian means tarantula.
What? That one of the most
Yep.
well-known Italian songs is about tarantulas.
Yeah.
So crazy to me. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. But the other thing about spiders is, I don't know if you know this, that all spiders bite. They all have mouths and they all bite.
Hmm.
It's just that the vast majority of them, their mouths are so small that you don't even realize that they can bite.
Oh my gosh.
Don't even realize that you got bitten.
They got little mouths.
So if you ever find yourself, I don't know, in Latin America or somewhere where they have giant spiders, these Goliath bird eaters or whatever, they say, like, don't go after a big spider with a broom or something, because it'll just run right up the broom and bite you.
Oh my
Seriously.
God. No.
Because most people don't think spiders bite, but they all do.
Oh, they so do. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, people know that some do, but the thing is that they don't realize that even like a daddy long legs, but the mouth is so tiny that you would never, it's innocuous. It doesn't give you any kind of welt or anything if it bites you. So,
Jeez.
because it's so small, the mouth.
I like daddy long.
Yeah.
They're my, of all the
Yeah.
spiders, they are my favorite, because they, my grandfather really liked daddy long legs when he was around. And he used to keep one as a pet in his house.
Cool.
Yeah, he named it Winty, Winty Spider. I don't know why, but he did. And
The thing is, how do you keep it as a pet? How did he feed it or anything?
he would just kill flies and just kind of put them next to the web.
Really?
And the spider would just kind of crawl over and just take it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing was, when I was a kid, the old saying was, I don't know where this comes from, but that if you kill a daddy long legs, it's going to rain the next day. So don't ever kill a daddy long legs.
I wonder where that
And
comes
actually, and as a kid too, I know you talked about this in one of your other podcasts about outhouses. So we did have an outhouse. It was a 4 or 5 seater on the property where I grew up, and that was the biggest haven for daddy long legs. There were hundreds of them in the outhouse.
Oh my gosh.
Yuck.
Just like on the ceiling and stuff, not where the gross stuff is, but
still pretty yuck.
Yeah, that's crazy. Spider haven.
So, and and the thing about outhouses, the way it works is, it's just a big pit underneath there, and it just decomposes. And what you do is you throw some lye in there once in a while, which is just like a stone that like burns it up a little bit and helps it decompose quicker.
Oh.
But yeah, you don't ever take anything. You don't ever dig anything out because the pit is so huge that it's like you would never fill it in a lifetime, even with like a family of 12.
Interesting.
So the house just sits on top of a giant pit, a shit pit.
Wow.
Shit pit. Wow, that sounds like a really bad British game show.
That's like Fear Factor.
Fear Factor?
Next on Shit Pit.
Next on Shit Pit. What?
Do you know what Fear Factor is?
No, I don't know what Fear Factor is, to be honest.
Oh, that's a terrible show. I hated that show.
It's basically like, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, they challenge you to do things that you're afraid of, and if you do them and you're successful, then you win money.
Oh my gosh.
So you're afraid of spiders, and they'll throw you into a vat of spiders, and if you're willing to jump in and stay there for 2 minutes and then get out, they'll give you $1 million or something like that. It was something crazy like that.
Oh my gosh.
And there was this one where the woman had this one woman had like a food aversion or whatever. And so then he said, we need you, if you eat all the things on the table, we'll give you $1 million, whatever. And it was like sheep's eyeballs and like all these really disgusting things. And it was so gross. She took the eyeball and she bit into it and like squirted all this juice out and everything. And then she threw up. And because she threw up, she didn't get her money.
Yeah.
So she went through
Oh.
all that and she still
Yeah.
didn't win anything, even though she
Yeah.
was trying.
That's so rough. Oh my gosh. You think that? Oh wow.
But I would hate, and based on what I just said about Fear Factor, I hate to know what you do on Shit Pit.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I feel like you like go like the I think it was in like medieval France. There was like that sewage system they had, and like people would like make a living off of like basically dumpster diving in the sewage system.
Right, right.
And they would
Yeah.
have like nets and stuff where they would find like coins and like stuff that people dropped, like necklaces and things.
Rings and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
exactly.
that's in Les Mis.
Oh,
When all
yes.
the dead bodies are going down in the sewer, and the guy goes down to
To loot the
forage the
bodies.
dead bodies for.
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's right. So maybe Shit Pit's like that. It's like inside of this pit, there are seven chests. One of them has $14 million in them, and the rest have toys, and the rest have penalties.
Well, I thought you were going to say it was sort of like what is that, the adventure one where the people go all over the world or whatever. So it's sort of like it's sort of like a cross between a game show and like, I don't know, what do you call it, National Geographic or something. It's sort of like they show you all the famous sewers of the world, and like they go in there and then they throw a bunch of gold coins or whatever, and they have to like go sewer diving and look for them. But in the process you get to see, like, here are the sewers of Paris, and here's the sewers of Bangkok or whatever. So it's like an adventure travel show as well,
That would be cool. That would be definitely more interesting for the viewers, I think.
Yeah.
There are
not that I would do it, mind you, but
absolutely not. But no, yeah,
I mean, what I want to say is I wouldn't do a sewer dive. I would be a producer of a show like that and make money. Yeah, sure.
Producer on Shit Pit. Not producer of Shit
My claim
Pit.
to fame. Here's the thing. I would want to be the set deck guy,
Oh my gosh. No, thank you.
B's like, that's the worst gig I've ever gotten paid for.
Maybe you'd make good money.
You'd probably just garnish it with flowers, like you try to make it look nice.
Oh my gosh. No, thank you.
You're like, I put so much Febreze in there. It's not even funny.
She's like one of those giant fans with like a giant vat of Febreze that just blows across there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You got somebody to custom make like a gigantic like a scented candle,
A scented candle. Actually, that would be dangerous because of the gas.
Oh shoot. Oh my gosh.
If you had an open flame, it could explode.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So no candles.
No candles.
No candles.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like something you hear
on the news. I think it's called miasma. Not like not my asthma, but miasma is this technical name for the fumes that are dangerous, that can explode.
Oh,
interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Miasma.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It was actually a vocabulary word when I was in elementary school, but why we had to know that, I don't know, but I still remember it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's an interesting vocabulary word to have. Did you have different vocabulary in school?
Did I? Of course I did. Yeah.
Okay. I definitely
Yeah.
we had the best vocabulary books that would teach you everything if you just did it.
And let me guess, you didn't do it.
Sometimes I did. Some weeks I was really good, and some weeks I was not as good.
I see. I don't know, like that kind of stuff. I actually enjoyed doing, like English and vocab and stuff like that. Very fun for me, but it was math and science that was very hard for me.
Interesting. Man.
Yeah, same here. I always loved words, so yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like vocabulary, I always did well on that, but times tables, I still can't do that.
Yeah, I still have to think about it.
Sometimes this is a weird B fact. I like to solve for X for fun.
I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it.
Sometimes
Actually, here's the interesting thing, because it's so funny that you say that, because you come by your algebra genes, honestly, because I was terrible at math, and I in 8th grade, it was pre-algebra, and I was failing because it was like math, and I was just like, I hate math. I've always hated math. I've always done bad at math, or was bad at math. So I was just failing, and we had like a parent teacher conference thing where my mom came in and with the teacher, and he's like, look, he has an F and he's going to fail the year, and if this throws him off track, because we had like these things called tracks where you were like college prep or whatever. So like if I didn't pass pre-algebra, then I couldn't get into algebra, and then I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that, and so, and I, after the parent teacher conference, my mom said, you got to turn this around. And then all of a sudden it clicked in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I actually enjoy algebra. It was the first form of math that I actually enjoyed to do.
yeah.
And I got an A.
Oh,
I turned it around to an A.
wow.
That's
I
awesome.
went from an F to an A,
That-
and ended the year with a C, because the first half of the year was an F and the second half of the year was an A. So
Dang,
so
you
wow.
pulled it up.
There you
That's
go.
super cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So yeah, so I did always enjoy algebra.
yeah, algebra was good. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
Oh my gosh. You know what killed me?
What?
Geometry.
I don't remember a single thing with geometry.
Geometry.
I don't remember a single thing.
That is the only class I ever failed.
Was geometry?
Was geometry. I got a D, right? So I had to go to summer school.
You went to summer
Oh
school?
wow.
I went to summer school.
I didn't know that.
I don't like talking about it. It was horrible. And the thing was, I went to summer school and I taught myself, right? Because summer school in my high school was like they gave you lessons online and you just did them quietly, and then took tests and
Oh,
passed. And
right.
I did it and I got like an A. Like I passed teaching myself, but like I didn't learn a single thing sophomore year from geometry. I was like, it's like I don't get it.
So it was the teaching style more than the material?
I think so, because I would go up to him and I'd be like, hey, like, could you, I don't really get this. And he would be like, don't you have Google? Right? He'd be like, can't you look it up yourself? And I'd be like,
Your teacher would say that?
yeah. He'd be like,
Oh my.
don't you know, like,
That's
you know what
that sounds like a
Google
bad
is?
teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but
That's
the thing was I couldn't complain because like other people were doing fine.
I freaking hate that.
I would have been like, oh, you mean to tell me that Google went to school to learn how to be a teacher? Okay.
Man.
Who roasted? Oh man.
No, but I struggle with geometry. I liked the idea of it, but the thing made me struggle, and maybe this is what your issue was, Alex, is that the way my brain thinks about spaces and the way things intersect in space is different than the way geometry thinks about it.
Yeah.
So like I would be calculating it in a way that had no bearing on how you're supposed to calculate it, because the way I would like visualize a sphere or a plane or whatever it was completely different than what they were trying to tell me. And I was just like, so yeah.
I definitely agree. Like because I had my own preconceived ideas about it, and then learning math about what I already thought I knew was like really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what made me realize that about my way my brain thinks in terms of space is that it was sort of like I got into a big argument with my dad one time about what's the top of your body.
What's the top?
So I'll ask you that
Oh.
question. What's the top of your body?
That's my shoulders, right?
No, the top of your. That
The
means.
top of your body.
I
Is that your
mean,
shoulders? Okay, that's an
technically,
interesting one.
Well,
That's not what I was expecting.
oh no.
Okay, yeah. So all right. So Alex said top of his shoulders. What did you
I
say?
said the
V? What
top,
did you
like
say?
the top of your head. Like the top part of
That's
your
what I
skull.
said. I said the crown of your head is the top of your body.
Yeah.
My
Wait.
dad's like, from your waist up is the top of your body. I'm like, that's not the top. That's the upper half of my body.
I mean,
I think my answer was incorrect. Like I'm thinking about it.
your eyes.
No,
are the
no.
top
Well,
of
I mean,
your
if you're
face.
thinking the top of your torso
Yeah, I was
as
thinking
the
about
top of your
torso.
body.
Yeah, because I was like, my
Body.
head
You
is
equate
not
body with torso. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I see though. If
Right.
the whole body is the head, like the top of my body is like the top of my head. Oh yeah, I think it's
But like
about
I said,
perspective.
yeah, no, exactly. And that's what made me realize I'm like, oh, well, so like the teacher is trying to teach me geometry and saying that the upper half of my body is the top of my body when I'm seeing the top of my head as the top of my body. You know, that was made me have that realization about a different way of seeing things in space.
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say that you were like that he was gonna say that laying flat on your back, the front, like your face and your chest and your stomach and the front of your legs.
Well, when you're right, so if you're prone, yeah, then the top of your body, if you're lying on your back, would be the whole front of your body. But the thing is,
exactly.
so
So that's
again,
what I
so
thought you
there,
were gonna
but there
say.
you go. See, but again, see, that's the thing about space, you know, objects in space, like how are you visualizing the object? Of course, I am visualizing a person standing up. I'm not visualizing them lying down, but maybe you think about it that other way. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but,
So
yeah.
no, I definitely agree. The top of your head is what I would say.
I know,
is the top of your
I
body.
see that. I see
No,
that.
no, you're good. Like it's just an interpretation. You know what I mean?
Right.
But saying
Right.
eyes are the top of your face.
Your eyes are not the top of your face.
No, I'm saying like your eyes and up is the top of your face.
Oh.
It is the top of your face, but like it's not.
But the
top of
face,
your
if
face.
you, but your face is just like an oval or an egg shape that's the front of your skull. You know what I mean? Like, or the front of your head.
Right.
So like the face is a very limited thing, whereas body, like with Alex, you know, he interpreted it to be the torso. And so his answer, shoulders, made sense. As soon as he said it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense if you think of that as being your body and not the limbs.
Right. Yeah.
And the head, you know. But yeah.
Oh, here's a
so what was the
thing. Oh, go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, what was the one most favorite class that you ever took in school? College or elementary school, high school, whatever.
Oh, anything.
It's really hard.
Oh.
Like where you have very fond memories of either the teacher or the subject or whatever, but like that one class you were happy about it. And I asked this question without even knowing what my own answer would be, to tell you the truth.
Oh.
I said that's the worst way to approach question.
V says that's a party foul.
Strong philosophy on that it's important that if you ask a question that you have your personal
That I already have the answer.
But no,
well,
but
I'm like,
okay.
well, because
no, I mean it's an honest question.
My question springs from talking about the worst class or the class where he got a D. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously that's probably in his mind like the worst class that he ever took.
Oh
So
yeah.
Right.
and that teacher sounds like a total craphead. So
Ah,
yeah.
best class ever.
I think I got mine.
Go ahead.
2D animation in college. I think it was the first one or the second one. No, it was the first one because that was the only one I had in person before COVID. It was awesome. It was taught by a professor named Eric Van Hammersveld. He taught, or like he worked in the industry. He was super cool. It was early in the morning, but like I wanted to be there. I learned so much. We all got to use these light tables and we would do actual like pencil animation on paper.
Nice.
And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world because that was the only class I actually used pencil and paper for.
As far as animating.
As far as
Mm.
animation was, everything else was technology.
Right.
Everything else was like a software that I had to learn and
Right.
like really figure out. But that class was just like I felt like a classic Disney animator where I looked back and forth at all my papers and referenced them and like it was super awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine is based on one experience in the class. It was one of my favorite classes to begin with, I would say, but I do know the answer. So I'm undoing my party foul by knowing my answer.
Okay, you're good.
And that is my senior year social studies class.
Oh.
And the reason is because I always was very, very good at social studies. And always had A's in that and did very well and everything. And so in that year we were doing, I don't know, modern history or something like that. And it was very interesting to me. The course was interesting to me, but the thing that the moment that clinched it for me too was the teacher was berating the class saying, you're not doing well in the class. But of course in my head I'm thinking I'm getting an A plus or whatever. Like I know he's not talking to me, but
Yeah.
he's like, you're all not doing well because you don't pay attention and you don't listen and you don't take notes. And this one snide cheerleader, she goes, Darren Poley doesn't take notes. And the teacher looked at her straight in the face and said, Darren doesn't need to take notes.
Dang.
Because I would listen to the lectures and I would just know, I would remember what he said and then be able to repeat things back on tests and stuff because I was a good listener and I didn't need to take notes. So yeah. And that is like, I was like, where you like, what do you call it? Pat yourself on the shoulder kind of thing,
Yeah, it's like well, damn, I guess
Yeah,
that's
what?
Or like
he indirectly complimented you.
exactly. And like, yeah. So and of course the thing is they all knew he was right too, because everyone knew I had the best grade in the class. So
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, but that's such a good teacher vibe. Like I had teachers in high school be like, "We know you're smart, but you have to pretend like you're dumb." And that was always really frustrating. Not pretend like you're dumb, but like just
Tone it down.
tone it down. Like, and that's always frustrating for me. Cause it wasn't it got to a point where it was like I wasn't even raising my hand anymore. It was just like I wasn't like I was
but that's
drawing
like
and taking
it's
notes.
like, what is this, Soviet Russia? I mean, like, are you supposed
Yeah.
to be shooting for mediocrity? You know what I mean? Like
That's
that's
what it
crazy. They
felt
should be
like.
rewarding.
Yeah. But my favorite class, I think I had so many good acting classes in college, but I would say one of my best classes was the acting class that I took headshots in. I think it was acting for the screen or film acting or something like that was the name of the class.
Stage
And
fighting? Stage fighting?
No, screen
Stage
acting.
No, because you said headshots, but you were taking hits in the head.
No.
Oh my
My
God.
photograph.
Boom.
But we learned a lot about like the industry for acting, and although I haven't really done acting in the industry. I've found other love in the movie industry. It was just very helpful, and it was a really nice teacher who really cared about us, and so yeah, I would say that I think it was called screen acting, I think was the name of the class. But yeah, so I would say that's probably my favorite class.
Cool. Interesting that both of you picked college courses.
Yeah. High school was okay, but it was mediocre at best. I mean,
I had a great time in college too, but I just
yeah. Well, I would say I did really like 7th grade English, because the teacher knew that I cared, and like I joined later in the year, but she also had a student teacher for part of the year, so it was a little bit like we didn't get as much time with her, but like I'm friends on Facebook with her. Like I definitely think that she was a good teacher, and I liked her as a teacher, but it wasn't like a great class. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I had great acting classes with my teachers. So
Nice. Yeah, I had a really great mentor teacher in college, in political science, Dr. Shirley Ann Warshaw, and she was amazing. She was an amazing professor. I took every class she taught, and it was great. And the only sad moment was I had to take a course on Congress because American government was my concentration in political science, and I love political philosophy, but anyway, my concentration was American government because that was her specialty. And I enjoyed learning about the presidency in another class, and I learned about like global politics and stuff in other classes. But then it was foreign affairs and that kind of thing. But then this one, we had to do one on Congress. It was so deadly dull, and it was at 8 o'clock in the morning, which for me is like, forget it, I'm not even awake yet. And I would show up late, unshowered, in my pajama, in sweat clothes, and I just like completely blew off all the assignments and everything, because I had her, and I'd always had gotten an A from her from in every class I had with her. And she finally she had me come in, and she's like, I know you did at least some work, so I'm giving you a D so that you don't fail this course, but you really disappointed me. And it was a good moment, really, because it was kind of a bit of a wake-up call. But yeah, that class, I loved her, I loved all the things she did, but that one, it was just the fact that it was so freaking early in the morning and everything, and it was the terrible subject matter that I didn't like.
yeah,
so,
it wasn't
learning about it was mainly it was the content, like learning about culture votes and all these different things in Congress, and about committees and subcommittees and all that bureaucratic crap that I hate. So
yeah. Buzz.
Yes.
What is something that you want to do in your life? Maybe it's changed from the last time this question has been asked. Maybe it hasn't.
Did you ask me this question before? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'm not actually. I might have to go through the audio and look at that.
I know that you've asked. I know you typically ask people that question.
Well, it's your turn
on your podcast, so I should have been prepared for this one. Something that I would like to do, like before I die, before I perish.
Yeah.
Yeah. In reality, or in fantasy? You know what I mean? Like in my mind, or like in something that actually I have to physically do? Like, is it a mental adventure or is it a physical adventure?
I don't know what a mental adventure entails. Do you mean like something creative?
Well,
or do you mean like...
So yeah, something creative, or so a very dull example would be like you reading a book, to read a certain book. So for example, I'll give you a good example. So I love the play Love's Labour's Lost by Shakespeare. I teach it in my class and at the college level every semester, or every spring semester. I teach it. It's one of the readings that I have them do, and they're always blown away because it's like a play by Shakespeare that nobody's ever heard of, so they don't know anything about it. So it's always fresh and everything to teach. And so in the story of Fahrenheit 451, there are these people called book people who, because books are burned in Fahrenheit 451, the book people memorize the book, and then they become known as the title of the book. So like, I'm War and Peace, and that person has memorized all of War and Peace.
Right.
So we were talking about this in my class, and they said, so what book would you be? You're a librarian, you're a professor, and I said, I would like to memorize Love Labor's Lost and just have it completely memorized. I mean, first of all, I love Shakespeare, and but just to have that play memorized so that I could recite it would just be amazing to me. And so, like, to me, that's a mental adventure. So I guess that would be my answer.
Yeah.
But that's not really an adventure in terms of like going somewhere or doing something, like, I don't know, skydiving or whatever. But
no, that's a good answer. That's an honest answer, and that's a good answer. I like that. To memorize.
Thank you. Well, being the great indoorsman too, like it's not like I want to go rock climbing or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not a thrill seeker. So yeah, so mine's going to be a more intellectual, mental kind of adventure of the challenge of doing that. And I have portions of it memorized already. So just from having read it so many times, but yeah. So if I can memorize that before I die, that would be good. Of course, what will happen is I'll have it memorized, and then I'll get Alzheimer's, and then I won't be able to remember anything.
No. I would not. I can't. I hope that doesn't happen.
That'll be the only thing you'll remember.
Whoa.
You'll only pull quotes from it to talk about for life.
You'll be like,
now I'm starting to sound like Don Quixote.
Yeah,
you'll be like a dystopia character, You'll be the book. You will be the book.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. Do you have any advice or wisdom that you wish to share on our listeners or even on the world?
I don't know how wise this is, but I would say it was funny because I was stroking my beard. I was like consulting the beard as you asked me for some wisdom here. I realized that that's kind of cliche. I was doing that. No, so, but that we think, all right. So we think that in our life, that somehow suffering is an aberration. So like, I'm normally healthy, but when I get sick, I feel like, okay, I'm not myself. I'm not normal. But the reality is that suffering is a absolutely normal and natural and regular and to be expected aspect of human existence. And so it's a real challenge, but to realize that we need to celebrate when things are going well rather than bemoaning when things don't go well. And I'm not saying that you should be, negative and be like, oh, well, life is shit and, and everything goes bad and catastrophe all the time. But what I mean is that instead of, like being like, why did my car not start this morning? And it's like, well, because it's a mechanical thing and mechanical things break. And that's just logical that occasionally it's not going to work. So what I should do is every day when I start it up and it goes and it works, I should be like, wow, it's great. I have a way to get to work today because my car started, so I don't know. And that's a minor example, but like, I don't know, like when things are going well in your relationships, like celebrate the good moments of, I have someone in my life who loves me, like they don't need to do anything. It's just the fact that I have that in my life because it's more, what do you want to say, normal in a sense that you're going to live a lonely, unloved life, Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but so suffering comes in all different forms. So I'm thinking of it both emotionally and psychologically as well as physically. So
yeah,
But
No, that's
so I don't know
beautiful.
how wise that is, but that would be my advice, is that just in a way it's sort of like celebrate every moment, because there are no ordinary moments. But
I
I don't know.
love that.
Again, I don't know if that sounds too cliche. You like that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Remember to
we
quote
hear
me
it
on
while
that
the
one.
clothes dry like that very much.
Good.
Thank you. That was really good. Like, thank you. That was
You're
really,
welcome.
really. I'm glad you shared that.
Good. Yeah.
Well, I
And
suppose-
that's coming from someone. I have to be in full disclosure. I have to tell you, I am a catastrophic thinker. So like I'm not an optimist by any stretch of the imagination. So if someone's saying, "Oh, that sounds like an optimistic person who just thinks, we should be, take the time to smell the roses kind of person," that's not the way I approach life. Is that like, so a thing that happened, B and I talked about this one time, like for me, like, how people like get down after a holiday, like they had the blues or whatever.
yeah.
I get it before the holiday happens. I
Oh.
already have that depression or whatever it's called that happens after for most people, because I anticipate the fact that I know that this holiday is going to come and go and it's going to be over. And so I already anticipate the bad thing that's going to happen. And so I'm already experiencing the sadness that comes with the downtime, even before it's happened.
Yeah.
So I'm not a oh, peaches and sunshine, everything's gonna be wonderful kind of person. Like I do think very catastrophically about life a lot of times, and so yeah. So I guess that's kind of why my advice comes from that, because it's like I have to tell myself that, like, don't stop doing that to yourself, and realize that celebrate the things that are good, that are happening in your life. And when I say good, I don't mean like when everything's going great. I just mean like the ordinary things, because nothing really truly is ordinary other than suffering and tragedy, quite honestly. Because it's the human condition, right? It's sort of like the day we're born, we begin to die sort of thing, and like that's the reality. We not, it's not like, oh crap, why did I get old and why do I get sick and why, because that's the natural consequence of being alive, but yeah.
We'd like to thank you for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure having you. We're glad to see you dry on our clothesline.
I am. I'm so dry. I'm parched.
Oh dang!
Dry as tumbleweed over here.
Many of our guests cite dry mouth for several days after the guest episode. But thank you for coming on. We like to.
I absolutely love it. I love the podcast. I love what you're doing. I think it's an amazing project, and I wish you many, many, many years or many, many listeners, I should say. More listeners than years, maybe. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thanks. We
Because millions of listeners.
Yeah.
So.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
We'd
like to thank all the listeners as well, right,
yes.
B?
Yeah, everybody who listens, all of our fans, our amazing fans.
I want to thank your other guests on While the Guest Dries, because they have been very entertaining for me as a listener, and also an inspiration for me for being interviewed on While the Guest Dries. So
that's very sweet. Well, we're happy to hear it, and yeah, thank you for being on the podcast with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right.